Hey, everybody, welcome. This is a happy episode. I am super happy to be here today. I'm here with my co host, Billy, and we're here because Alien Earth has finally
Yeah, the
dropped,
xenomorphs
and
have
it is
landed.
fucking amazing. So, we're going to be talking about um, first two episodes. It's pretty amazing stuff that I've seen. And right now, we're just going to kind of start it like we normally do, just our initial reactions. And then we'll kind of go dive deeper into everything about it. So, Billy, I'll let you start, and then I'll
Yeah, so I'm
go
a
with
I'm
mine
a
after that.
Alien franchise fan, like a fringe fan. I haven't gotten like taken deep dives into it in a while, but I was excited for this show. And yeah, the first two episodes had me intrigued. I'm not like fully, like mind blown or anything, but like yeah, that second episode, the action really did it for me, and yeah, storyline is building in a curious way. So digging it. What'd you think, Nick?
I like it. So, Billy, I got to tell you, this, they've been coming out with alien movies that have just not hit the mark.
That was
The
awesome.
last one, Alien Romulus, I thought that was a good movie. The previous ones were, they were cool, but not so much. I didn't really like the story. I mean, I'm not going to diss on Prometheus, but this brought everything back. It brought you into this universe where you're back in, the first Alien movie. You feel that feeling. I felt the feeling when I was watching, because
Mhm.
I watched Aliens first, the James Cameron one when I was a kid, before I ever saw Alien. I felt like I was there,
Yeah.
in that era, that sort of thing. Um, the way they made this, the way they started it, the tone, the pacing of this, just the undertones of storyline in here, and just the intensity. Man, I was on the edge of my seat half the time. But I love this. I think this is an A plus. This was a home run. I'm excited to see where this goes. But you know, I would like to kind of talk a little bit more about what did great, because honestly, I'm trying to think right now. I really can't think of anything I didn't like, and I'm a
Well,
huge critic, and I usually can always find something I
well,
didn't
here's
like.
the thing for me. Like, it's
I'm
not that I
stuck on
didn't
that one.
like anything. It's just, it's a little heavy. Like like the plot lines. There's all these characters. There's a shit ton going on. So like, for a for a movie, it alien movies have always worked for me because they build the story. You get the background, the exposition, all that stuff. Um, and this, you're kind of just hit with that, text on screen right away, which I was really interested in. And then you're just kind of off to the races. Like I got that, there's a spaceship out, collecting these species. It's on its way to Earth, but I didn't fully understand like why and all that. And I guess that's part of the storytelling. We're not supposed to
Sure.
know its full mission yet. Obviously, something went wrong. There was that the cyborg guy that locked everybody out and let him go to the or somebody was
Or
sabotaging
somebody
it.
purposely
Yeah,
sabotaged
it
it.
seems weird. And then
Mr.
like him
Tang.
bagging up the xenomorph because that was the same guy that did that. The guy who bagged up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So like, why is
he's
he
a the
doing all that
cyborg.
shady stuff? I don't fully get it. Um, but like, yeah, that's storytelling. So like, all I'm saying is it's very dense. The dialogue, like all of the plot happenings, all of the like sci-fi fantastical stuff, not fantasy, but like crazy stuff happening. It's a lot to uh, keep in mind as you're trying to just go along with the story. So like that's kind of what I meant. Like I'm not fully into the show yet because it's heavy subject matter. Like I'm not. I feel like I need to like do some homework on it, and that's kind of I don't know for a TV show that's kind of off-putting. I feel like I shouldn't have to do homework, but that's just kind of like my initial take on the first two
Sure.
episodes. Maybe it's going to
I
become very crystal clear from here on. But yeah, right now I'm a little confused.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you this. I felt the the way this is being presented, you really didn't need to watch Alien or Aliens. Um, I felt like with the first text crawl there, and hey, this is what it is. There's a deep space ship out there on a 65-year mission collecting research species and bringing them back to Earth. Um, I thought that was kind of enough. They did a good job with the crew at the beginning. I loved how that was
Mhm.
presented because it was exactly like how
It looked like it was
the tone and the setting was for
it
Alien,
looked
just
like
the
it was
culture
filmed in
with
the
the
70s. Like all those people were
right.
plucked right out of the
Yeah,
70s.
like
It was crazy.
yeah, and that's what I loved. And I thought they did a really, really good job because they fooled me because I was like,
Hmm.
okay, so here's our people that we're gonna get involved with and
See,
you know go on in like the next scene.
sorry,
I thought they
we
did a
must have a
good.
little bit of a lag
Go ahead.
here. So, I yeah,
I could
that's
see
kind of
it.
what threw me a little bit. Is like you get it's like the Scream thing, with Drew Barrymore getting killed in the first Scream movie right off the bat. Like you're supposed to get
Oh
attached,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
like that's the idea.
It's a good
But
example.
like this for me didn't work because like I was like, okay, this is the crew that we're gonna be watching on this show, and oh, okay, then 15 minutes later, you're meeting a whole nother group of people. Those are the things that I'm talking about. It's like it's too much. It was just too much thrown at you. Like well, no,
I got a counter for
no,
you,
I'm just
buddy.
saying, like,
Go
for
ahead. No,
me,
finish.
like, as a
I have a counter.
casual viewer who isn't wanting to be like, okay, I need to, like, pause everything in my life for this TV show. It's like, no, just tell me the story. And, like, it's, it was quickly, like, very confusing because, you're meeting this group of people who I've never seen before. Now you're meeting these people. Now you're meeting these people. Now these people are dead. And now you're supposed to latch on to these new people who have now transferred their consciousnesses. Like, it's a lot to ask the viewer to, like, fall in love and then, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
The word
it's a
you're looking for
choice.
is awesome. All right. So here's my counter. Yeah, yeah. Here's my counter to the beginning. I think they did a really, really good job because, yeah, I was involved. I was like, all right, we're going to get to know these characters. They kind of had, like, what I liked is they had
Mm-hmm.
that old guy talking to that rookie guy, and he was, like, teaching them social studies. I was like, all right, so we're going to get to know these people. And they kind of had, like, a copy and
Mm-hmm.
paste from, like, the crew of Alien, which I liked. I thought that was cool. But I thought they did enough because I didn't understand this. And they were Mr. Tang, I guess, is the synthetic on board of their ship, and for some reason everybody was wary of him and just like straight up hated him,
Mm-hmm.
or shouldn't even call him him. Um, and I was like, what's that about? Because I had I think this takes place at before Alien, and I don't know. Maybe there's like they issued bulletins that
Mm-hmm.
some synths are go off or something like that. I don't know, but the reason why I thought it was a good job is because it's just like Mr. Tang, he was just kind of like answering their
Mm-hmm.
questions like fuck you behind it. And then all of a sudden, you cut to the next scene. They're in their cryo
Mm-hmm.
chambers, and the dude's in the mother room, and all the species got out. So I'm thinking, I don't think there was an actual accident. I think this was like purposely sabotaged. Um, I think it was part of Mr. Tang's directive from the company,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we're going to learn about that later. But that's why I thought it was okay that they all died off because it was just like, like okay, so now we have a
Mm-hmm.
mystery on our hands. Like what happened on that ship? And then we go to uh the little girl, she's got a deadly disease, talking with
Oliphant, yeah.
Timothy
Mm-hmm.
Oliphante or Oliphant Oliphant, who is like they're talking about a scorpion, and I was like, I really don't understand that, but I thought it was really, really cool the way they introduced this because first off, they did the text crawl with, we got synthetics, we got cyborgs, and then we got human
Mm-hmm.
beings in synthetics. And it said, whoever is, wins this
The
war, or
five
technology is going to like
corporations
win,
that run the
win
world or
Earth or
whatever.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Which,
Right.
yeah,
Which is
but
like
it
totally dystopian.
to
I was
me,
just
I
like,
liked
man,
that,
I
and
I hate,
that's
I don't like
where
that.
we were talking a little about this a little bit before we started recording. That's kind of right where I got the Blade Runner vibes. Is the corporations running the world? That's very Blade Runnery.
Right.
And then the synthetics and the replicants. The way they described that right off the bat was like, wait a minute, are they crossing universes here? Which I really think that's what they're doing. I think they're merging the Blade Runner Ridley Scott universe with the Aliens Ridley Scott universe, and to me that makes total sense. You have these, this dystopian future where corporations run the world, which we might be there in a few years. I won't get into politics today, but um, I think this show is timely in talking about that as a possibility of corporations controlling nations, and that goes to be totally honest with Blade Runner. I've That's a movie that I've tried to watch like 10 times and I've fallen asleep every time. So I've never seen it. I've seen it only in bits and pieces. Um, so like I can't like tell you the whole plot and the meaning of the movie and all this, but like in the background there's a lot of that corporation overlord, big brother was watching type of thing. So I do think that's where they're going with this show. Part of where they're going with this show. That I thought it was interesting.
I wouldn't be mad if they did that, because this has been a theory for a long time that the Blade
Hmm.
Runner universe and the Alien universe are in the same universe. Blade Runner is supposed to be set in the future, and the reason why they hunt down replicants and they kill them is because of, you know I guess some issues, like, and the theory, I guess, kind of goes is that, like, synthetics, around the alien time, either they rose up and started a war, something like that, and they had to, and it was a one they had to, like, rule that
Yeah, kind of like
you
the
can't produce
Butlerian
like
Jihad
synthetics
in
anymore,
in
like you
Dune.
can't do that sort of thing. So I wouldn't be mad, Billy, if that, like, if they made that true. I think it would be kind of cool too. Um, I thought they did a really, really good job at just incorporating all of these tones and these movies, um, into this first episode. Um, Part of what I caught is, if you've ever seen Ghost in the Shell, which is a huge, like, anime movie from the 90s, and its whole premise was that, they took a human mind from a dying human and they put it into a synthetic body
Hmm.
or android body, whatever you want to call it. And I thought this was, I mean, this is the exact same thing. I thought that was pretty cool as far as that aspect of it, because of the what they do is pretty much the same thing. They're super strong. They run fast. They can do all this acrobatic stuff. Um, and then they're sending them out on, missions. Well, technically they volunteered to do it, but it's probable that this would be what they would do, is like, go out on missions and stuff like that, which is exactly the same as what, Ghost in the Shell is.
Hmm.
These people who gets transferred into these bodies, like, the work that they do is generally going to be like as a soldier. But I thought that was cool. I also thought it was pretty cool how, um, they were kind of introducing, this,
Hmm.
I guess, what do they call it, the fifth corporation that just popped up, and this young guy,
Boy genius.
who's this genius who came up with this, right, right. And he came up with this procedure to bring a human mind into a synthetic. And now he's like the youngest trillionaire in the world, and he has like, I don't know, whatever. If this is
Hmm.
I think this is an island, right? This is an island, his city, Prodigy City. I thought that was cool how they kind of, just presented that, and how the dude kind of reminds me of, what's the guy's name that played in
Timothy
Dune?
Chalamet.
Paul Atreides. Yes, he kind of reminds me of him.
Hmm.
Kind of looks like him. You know what I mean? But his whole like character
Yeah,
was
I
just
mean
like
he's a guy, he's a character I
kind of
want to
douchey.
die.
You know what I
Like I
mean?
hate that character right
Um,
off the bat. So like it's being perfectly played. Like
right.
you're supposed to hate him. So
But um, part of what I thought was cool is they are incorporating this whole thing, which I thought was really dark. They have the first human synthetic, and she's bringing in these children who were also dying. They got to go to these synthetic bodies if they're going to live. And when she's, talking to them, the little girl goes, "So when can we go home?" And then she just says this without any, like, kind of like how a child would say, not any. There was nothing in her eyes when she said it. You know what I mean? And she just was like, never. And then it just fades to the next scene. And like the guy, that boy genius guy is like watching as she like said that. I thought that was kind of cool. I felt like that was significant in a way because again, they're dying, they're being reborn. Um, and then you get introduced to her kind of stalking her brother, which again, I mean, the only kind of all right, as far as critiques go, the only thing I would have to say is the level of just freedom. I don't know. I guess freedom that they give her is something I didn't think they would do. Like they wouldn't allow her to,
all right, we're back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I am hardwired in now. I think that should solve my audio issues. Nick, what were you saying?
Yeah, I mean, I was touching on just so the whole thing is that this kid, well, kid, boy genius, created the most significant scientific, um, you know, thing to date where they're able to transport a human mind into a synthetic body. And the first one done was
Wendy?
our,
Oh,
you know, main character.
isn't it
I,
Wendy?
I don't even know her name. What's her name? Is oh okay, yeah, Wendy.
Yeah, they
I don't
say
know
it
her
in
real
episode
name, but
two. I
yeah,
forget
Wendy.
what it was though.
Um, I thought it was just kind of weird, because like they don't really know everything that's going on with her. Like she's stalking her brother, and somehow she has the ability to hack into code and change code, which again, this goes right back to Ghost in the Shell because that's exactly what those people who were in
Hmm.
those synthetic bodies could do too. They could, do that sort of thing and like,
That was dope.
hack into the computers and change stuff, which is cool, which is fucking cool. So I thought that was like weird that they number one don't have more eyes on her. Number two, they don't know like I thought that was weird that they were like, hey, what the heck did she just
Hmm.
do? She changed the code. And then the boy genius was like, did we give her those, he was trying to think of the word because it kind
Hmm.
of seemed like he didn't even come up with this. Like he kind of stole the ideas,
Hmm.
because he was just like, skills. Because in my opinion, if he was behind this, whole thing and he was actually like a boy genius behind this, revolution, he would just know everything
Hmm.
that is going on type of deal with these synthetic people. I thought that would be my only kind of critique. I would say I think the whole
Parables,
parabolas,
parables.
parabolas, parables
The
that they are
analogies.
using, I think it's right. The analogies. I think this is something that you do not see. I mean, you just don't see it, dude. Uh, the whole thing with the kids being called the Lost Boys, which I mean, again, that's it's
Hmm.
kind of like an obvious one, but still they still did the whole thing where it's like, he's reading Peter Pan. They understand that they are children, they're going into
Mm-hmm.
adult bodies, they're never going to grow old. I mean, their minds will grow old, sure. So that's why it kind of doesn't work, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time he calls them their lost boys. Main character's Wendy. I think this is something that you don't see every day, and you don't. And this is something that really, really works and speaks to the Alien franchise, specifically Alien and Aliens. The way they start, they were doing the filming, and it was kind of like they would just kind of fade into the next
Mm-hmm.
scene. Like, he's like reading the book, and then all of a sudden it's like the next scene. Like, this is all like, you just don't see this shit. And I mean, like, dude, this hit the fucking mark because it worked. It hit the tone. It was there because it was just like, hey, you know, this is something miraculous that we have here. And they're trying to figure out, and this all goes back to like, if your body dies, are you dead? Or is, like, the consciousness that is transported over to the synthetic body being all ones and
Mm-hmm.
zeros, is that really you? Like, is like these synthetics children that we see, are they actually these children? Or are they just very good imitations of their
Yeah.
personalities and consciousness? Because you can copy my consciousness and personality, you can copy your consciousness and personality and put it into a perfect replica that looks exactly like you, but it is not you. And that's what I'm wondering, and that's what I kind of feel.
Yeah.
These children are actually dead. That's what I feel.
But
I feel these kids are dead, and these are just very good copies. And it kind of goes to a very deep philosophical debate about what consciousness is. And I mean, again, dude, like, wham, out of the park. I mean, you do
but
not see this shit.
what
Like,
like
this is
why how does
awesome.
that connect to aliens though? I don't get it.
Well, no, no,
I know, well that's what I
I'm not
mean.
even
Like
commenting
I've
on that.
seen shows like
I'm just,
Westworld that
right, right,
explore
right.
that, and it's like,
I'm just,
okay, like I don't know,
right,
I didn't
right.
know it was gonna be all about that.
So, I, well, okay, all right. If you look the way this is presented, and you look, the only other parallel I could show would be in Prometheus with
The engineers,
uh no, no, not the engineer, the dude that was in the movie that goes backwards. What the
yeah,
heck is his name? And
Wayland.
he's the old guy. He's yeah, yeah, yeah. So the way this is being talked about is kind of the way he's
Hmm.
talking, like how that was all presented, and like how he was talking about all of this stuff. Like, he- he's talking about, like, what is, this, what is that, and then it kind of like fades into this and fades into that. This is all, I feel, just the tone is the same. I feel
Yeah.
it hits the marks. That I feel it's not I wouldn't use the word connected, but it's, as
Oh
far as
yeah.
filmmaking goes, it's touching on what was said
But,
before. Um, but that's why I don't feel this was out of, the aspect that
hmm
it's still reminding me of the Alien universe. But this is still something that is, why I think this was just really fucking good, dude, is because it's bringing up all these philosophical, um, questions,
yeah,
and you don't see that every day. And perhaps it's just going to be smoothed
I don't
over.
think
Who
so.
cares? But it's still something that they definitely are looking at, and but I thought it was really, really fucking cool. Um, as far as the pacing of this show, Billy, I don't know if you. I mean,
I
I
didn't
know
think it
you
was
felt like
rushed.
this is
I didn't.
rushed.
I didn't. I thought it was like
I felt
slow in places, but I think it was just too much to like absorb at one time. You know.
And again, I'm gonna respect your opinion on that. I felt I could have been right there in the story just the way they're presenting it because it is a lot, but at the same time they're doing it in a way that is still
Yeah, and I have
uh,
to
done
clarify
well.
too. Like I had the
Like the
same like reaction to the first few episodes of Game of Thrones, which ended up being one of my favorite shows like of the last 20 years or whatever. So like yeah, like it I from the first two episodes I feel like overwhelmed with information and storylines and characters and like I don't really know what's going on, but I kind of know what's going on and like we haven't even talked about Nemec yet, the dude from Star Wars, from Andor season one, uh, the brother. Uh, he might be dead now. He got attacked by that xenomorph at the end of episode two and fell down the shaft or whatever. Um, so like, what?
oh yeah, yeah. Dude,
Yeah,
I knew I
yeah,
saw that
Nemec.
guy
He was
before.
the guy who came up with the manifesto in Andor season one. Hmm.
Yeah, he was part of the heist.
Yeah, so like I want to know
Part
what
of the
happens
heist.
to
Yeah,
him, and like that's what I'm
that's fucking
saying. Like
cool.
I like the storyline is narrowing. Like we've gotten the crash. We know there's monsters and alien monsters aboard. They're starting to get out. They're starting to plant eggs. We know this, ghost in a shell cyborg woman is connecting with her real life brother, and like he might be dead now, which I really don't. I hope he's not because I really liked that story, and that's what I'm talking about. Is like that's I have a fear about this show. I have a fear of this show being like, okay,
If
you like this, you
yeah, I
like
mean,
this,
if
okay, cut. Now learn something new, and like, right,
I hope not.
right.
I hope not. He's a good character. He's a good. I thought he was gonna get face hugged at first because he was putting his face right over those eggs, but I kind of feel like he survived that one fall the first time. I think he's gonna survive this one. That's what I feel, and he's also
Yeah.
I feel like an exposition character. Main character. And like I said, I feel like and the reason why I brought up that whole philosophical stuff about if they're actually dead, if these are actually their
Consciences.
consciousness, I feel that is yeah, I feel like that's going to be touched on
Yeah.
by the brother because he might be like, you are not my like I want to believe it. I want to believe it, as my
Hmm.
whole body and being wants to believe it, but I know that you were just a bunch of ones and zeros and you cannot be my sister. I feel like that's going
Yeah.
to be kind of something that might come up. I don't know. But it would be something that I think would be very interesting. Um, I think that the whole issue with everything being presented super fast like that, I think it's good because you're presenting this whole landscape, and then what they're gonna do is it's all
Yeah.
spread out, and then they're gonna
Hopefully, yeah.
slowly bring it back in. You know what I mean? And I think it's very well done. I think they gave homages to the all the movies that came before. They're doing well continuity. I thought the look of the
That was
alien
perfect.
was
Oh,
it
so
was
I have
good,
to
man.
say
Like, dude, I was on.
my favorite part of both episodes, and I want to hear yours too. Um, when the xenomorph comes face to face with that dude, and usually the little arm mouth thing comes out real slow, and then it grabs the people. It just went
It penetrated.
right through his freaking face. That was so awesome. It was so fast. I love the speed of this xenomorph. It's
It,
insanely fast. It killed all those people out in the lobby or whatever in like 2 seconds. That was awesome.
right. Like, dude, I mean, like, okay, so that I'm glad you brought that up, dude, because like we have never been presented with the ferocity and
Yeah.
just like how dangerous these things are because it killed all those soldiers, like probably like
Yeah.
6 soldiers in what, like 3 seconds or something like
That
that.
was
It killed that
oh
entire
that party
party
was so
in what,
weird
like
and
a couple
nuts.
of seconds.
That dude was
I like,
that dude was pulling his
and how cool was
torso
that,
across
dude?
the
Like
floor.
they,
Ugh.
they, dude, Billy, you know what that reminded me of though? It reminded me of the Blade Runner universe.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just did
Living in
because it was
excess.
just like this
Yeah.
weird, like
Hmm.
elite type
Yeah.
deal. Like I thought that was great, and for some reason it definitely made me feel think
Hmm.
of the Blade Runner franchise. I don't know why, but it did. Um, I thought it was great that they have, and I'll touch on the guy who's pretty much a copy and paste from the dude from the first Alien movie, pretty much like down to the look. But now, he's a cyborg in this, and you can tell that his mission is just exactly what
Are you talking
the
about
company
Timothy
wants. He's all
Oliphant?
about the company, and he will. No, 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 no. The cyborg, the African American guy
Oh,
from
okay,
the
okay.
first ship that went down, and right, right, and so I I thought his whole demeanor and just coldness was just
Hmm.
number one, just part synth, cyborg, and then number two, you can kind of see him sweating in a couple times, like right when that alien's right there,
But he
his human part.
he didn't show fear
I
though.
thought
He
the
like
wet.
maintained his
Go ahead.
fear. That was so cool.
Right. I thought the weapons that he was using were pretty dope that we've never seen before, like this
Hmm.
super electric shock thing, and then this, super
Bag.
web, you know, shooting stuff that, right, right. I thought that was
Yeah.
super cool. Never seen that stuff before. I love how that was presented. I love how ruthless he is because you can just see where this, um, if you're from one country talking to another country, in this such certain situations, you wouldn't just be like, screw you, but like, I guess in this situation, this time where it's like company against company, it's just
Hmm.
like, screw you, like, you're, nothing type deal. And he showed that ruthlessness. And like, I love how that's all being presented. Um, as far as what the pacing goes, I think it's going to come to a head here. Well, not think. I kind of know because you can.
Yeah.
I've seen the previews for the next episode where they've got all the specimens and they brought them back. I thought it was cool that they presented these
That
other
eyeball
like
spider thing
species
is
that are.
terrifying. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. And this like tick slugs, thing, and then you got this crazy like
Yeah.
plant thing. I don't know, but I think this is all really cool that they are incorporating these other dangers, and it's not just a xenomorph. Um, I do think this underlining kind of theme, because like you have to understand, there is no talk in any of the future movies from any of the characters about the
Yeah.
situation that happened here. So the only conclusion that you can come up with is that, and this is what I think is going to happen, is that Wayland Utani is either like whenever if they do get whatever they want, or if they can't get whatever they want, but in the end, I think they're going to just annihilate the whole area. That's what I think is going to happen, and that's why you don't hear anything
I can see
about
that.
this whole situation. Because I was like, dude, I don't like when they do this sort of thing where you have this whole established future and then you bring it back with this new movie that's a prequel. And it's just like, well, we know how
Hmm.
this is going to end. I mean, the Earth survives. We don't hear about this shit, so obviously, this was wrapped up somehow. I don't like that
In Blade
aspect,
Runner,
but I'm
in
still
Blade Runner
excited.
though, there's like on the
I think
outskirts of the main city, there's wasteland. It looks like, Mad Max style. So like that could be like post-nuclear solution, like yeah,
that's part it's
I like it.
part of that theory, dude, is that um and I'm not totally keen on the theory as to the exact thing, but from what I remember, it's just like the synth
Mm.
rose up, started an army, they had to put it down, big war, and that's why synths, aka replicants, are outlawed and killed on sight. Um, but this could all be intertwining into that
Be
sort.
awesome.
I mean, like, how cool would that be? That would be cool. Um, but at the same time, it's just like, you know, I would think that in Blade Runner, because you have these, head of corporations that you see, they would have some knowledge of this stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah, I
I don't know. I'm
mean,
not going to diss on the whole thing. But I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to kind of what I saw. Um, the species were cool. The violence, the gore was right on
yeah,
par where it needs to be. I mean, like, dude, I don't get like, you know, on the edge of my seat. This had me on the edge of my seat. This was great. It did it well, and I think it needs to be commended. Now the question is, Billy, though, we have the first two episodes that are setting this whole thing up. Now,
all right.
how are these other episodes going to be? Are they going to be a snore fest, like where they're just going to be filling in the gaps the entire time where nothing freaking happens? I mean, because if that happens, dude, like
Hmm.
it's not going to be good. But again, you can't have intensity at all times. Um, Other than that, though, I'm looking forward to this whole exploring the relationship between the brother. What's his
Nemec,
name? No, in
Nemec.
Star Wars,
Yeah,
in Andor, Nemec, and his synth sister, which, in my opinion, I think they're going to go there where he's just going to be like, I love you, but you are not my sister. I think that's kind of I mean, which would be great in my opinion, but I think that's where it's going to go. But I'm interested to see that. I am also interested to see because Timothy Oliphant's character, he's either like a cyborg or a synth. I don't know.
yeah.
All I do know is he was reading that computer screen really, really quickly, and he's like the teacher to these kid synths. And he's always telling them like,
Hmm.
fear is like a human thing. That can die. You can't die, so you should not be afraid. Um, I'm interested to see how these children kind of evolve around this whole aspect. Where, I mean, in my opinion, when you say human, I don't I don't apply it to flesh and blood. I apply, and that's this is exactly what I said about Superman. I apply it to consciousness, intelligence. Like, you have human intelligence right here, where these synths are at, everybody's
Hmm.
at, and this is where Superman's at. And that's why again, why I said, like, that's why Batman
Yeah.
beats Superman, because he's smarter. You know what I mean? But I'm interested to see how this kind of evolves for their thinking, because again, they said that they had to use children's minds because adult minds would not fit. I guess I can't remember the exact
It
term.
was about
And the only thing I can
plasticity,
think
like
of is that,
neural plasticity is what they didn't say it in the show, but like kids' brains are more malleable, so like they're able to be like re
right,
yeah.
accept
Right, yeah.
this like reality type deal. And the only thing I can think of, it's just exactly what you can do with any children. Like, if you present some sort of education that you say is real, they're going to accept that because that's what they're being taught by,
Hmm.
superiors. And it's like the same thing with this. It's just like, they're young minds that haven't developed, and so they're able to develop around this and take this in as their reality. I'm just kind of interested to see if it's going to turn out to be like something like, they get, you know, a superior, what's the word,
Superiority
superior
complex, yeah.
complex, or um, superiority complex type deal, or if they're going to be like more of a hero, which I think our protagonist, Wendy, is going to be type of a deal. Um, and again, man, I mean, this is This
Yeah,
is why this show is fucking great. This is just this is hitting all these aspects that like just making you think, and then it's just got this gore and storyline, this continuity. Fucking awesome, man. I'm super excited for this. Now I'll tell you this. Like I said, if episode 3 and 4 turn into a snore
yeah.
fest, I'll be disappointed. And but I. I think it is going to kind of depend on how these episodes are going and
Yeah,
the story's
I
going
have
to
high hopes for
pace
the
out.
rest of the
But
season. I'm looking
uh,
forward to seeing where it goes. I hope they keep the gore and the action up, which I think they have to. They know their audience. They know we expect a certain level of entertainment. But yeah, I'm definitely on board with the show. I love it. I'm getting more excited about it after talking to you today. So yeah,
hell yeah, man. And the only thing I kind of don't want to see, which it could go, is if the alien, I guess you can call it, I mean, we'll call it infection or infestation. We'll call it infestation. Alien infestation goes citywide because I mean you got I don't
yeah.
know how many people in that city, millions, I don't know, potential hosts for aliens. And what we know from past alien slash predator movies is that anytime the alien infestation gets to a certain level, what they do to just rid the
Hmm.
menace is drop a big ass fucking bomb. And that's kind of where I hope it's not going to go. But again, I don't know what the
Yeah.
how they're going to tie a bow around this. You know what I mean? To make it where nobody
I like
knows
that
what
theory
happened or
of,
what aliens
I think
are.
it's, if done right, even though it's, it's been done before, but if done right in the context of the show, I think they could build to that. Maybe not even this season, if they're doing 2 seasons, three seasons of this show, maybe that's what they're ultimately building towards is like, yep, it was just all a dream, wiped away with a big bomb. So I don't know. I like it.
uh, all right, man. I thought this was
Yeah, man.
a show that we definitely needed a pod on because it's got me. I mean, this like in my opinion, this is the number
Yeah.
one thing this whole fucking year. Um, I think this is setting the stage for because again, and I don't know why, I'm sorry that I don't know who the director of the show is, but
Yeah.
he or she is doing this right, the way it should have been. Which I mean, Romulus definitely hit, but I mean, I can't say that the couple of the past ones, I mean, because they didn't hit. This is kind of
Yeah,
correcting the course, which I do
Noah
like.
Hawley is the
Um,
showrunner for this. So he's done some really cool stuff in the past, which I'm blanking on now. But yeah, and then Fede
the
Alvarez, I
name
believe,
sounds
did
familiar.
Romulus, which he killed it with that. And so Fede Alvarez and Noah Hawley, in my book, they're the future of Alien and Predator and potentially Blade Runner. It'd be awesome.
What did you? One last thing. What did you think about how they end each episode with like kind of a rage type song? Or I think the first one was like
Yeah,
kind of it's. I don't think it was an
I
ACDC
don't know.
song, but it sounded like an ACDC song.
It
But
kind of threw me off. Like I liked it, but like I liked it once it got into it, but like it is a jolting shift. Like it's a jarring shift right there at the end. So I don't know. I was
I think that's a good representation of what
yeah,
this, where this is going and
yeah,
what the show is. Just like,
yeah. I
like
do.
I don't know. I liked it. I liked it. I think it hits well. But um, what? Oh yeah,
Next week, yeah.
Peacemaker
I am so
is
excited for
next
that.
week.
Mandy and I are gonna rewatch season one. I rewatched it over January. She wants to rewatch it again before the season two. I'm so excited.
Unfortunately, I saw an extended trailer, which I wish I didn't see, but I'm excited
That
for it.
new
It looks
trailer's
fucking
good. The
dope.
one where the
Will
aliens walking through the other doors and stuff.
Well, this was like an extended
I don't
trailer
want to
where
hear
they
anything.
kind of really described. Well, I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm just saying why it's bad. Not the show, but the trailer. They describe pretty much the plot
Hmm.
of what's
Yeah, I don't want to hear
going
that.
to happen. And I was like,
Yeah.
damn, like fuck, well, I wanted to hear that. But but okay, but we'll reconvene. Peacemaker is definitely, uh,
Yeah.
it's
I am
top
so
in
excited
DC
for
universe
Peacemaker.
now. I mean,
So,
so
yeah, we'll definitely talk when that comes on.
everybody, thank you for joining us today, and I hope you guys can like and subscribe. We do appreciate it, and we'll see you
See ya.
in a week or so.